High school football, the James Wood Colonels, unfortunately, their season comes to an end, falling to the Sherando Warriors 48-7. As always, joining me, the head coach of the Colonels, Todd Wilson. And coach, obviously not the result you want going out, facing a familiar foe in Sherando, a team you traveled to face once before. But I just sort of want to get your thoughts, although the loss, what were sort of the positive takeaways, maybe some things that you did a little bit better the second game that you weren't able to do against Sherando the first game, if anything?
Yeah, I mean it was two different games there. Offensively, I mean I thought the first time we played them offensively, we moved the ball fairly well. Not great. Nobody does. I mean, Sherando's got a heck of a defense. Their kids are coached up really well, and they do a lot of nice things there on the defensive side of the ball. Second game against them, we came out. We knew we were going to struggle up front running the ball. So we kind of spread things out, kind of moved the ball, thrown the ball a little bit. We moved the ball well again. Just couldn't put points on the board. We moved the ball, but once we got inside the red zone or cross midfield down into the 30 or 25, their defense just really does a good job of keeping teams out of the end zone. And we found ourselves in the same situation there. We moved the ball okay, we thought, just never could get really points on the board. Defensively, we were down several guys. I mean, no excuses here, but it was tough. It was a tough night for us defensively. We didn't do a good enough job, stopping the run game, and that made for a long night for us on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, so I mean, looking the result, not what you wanted, but going back to the beginning of the season here, coach, you mentioned the youth of your team and getting into the playoffs and getting some of your younger guys that playoff experience. How huge is that in your mind that you were able to sort of get to that point and give some of your younger squad that feeling of what it's like in the playoffs, playing this deep into the season?
Yeah, I mean that's where we're hoping. Winning football hopefully breeds more winning football. That's kind of our expectation. We played a lot of young kids throughout the course of the year. We didn't have a huge group of seniors in the first place. I mean, the ones we had, played big for us this year. I mean, guys like Vincent Savati, Kobe Mason, those guys did a great job for us, and I mean, there's others as well. We're gonna miss those guys, especially like Vincent Savati. I mean, he's a really good football player, but he's also a really good leader in the locker room. So we're going to miss guys like that. But it was a great opportunity for young kids to get an opportunity to have a winning football season, get into the playoffs. So anytime you're in the playoffs, that's a successful season. So we're hoping it builds on for next year.
You mentioned getting better each and every week, surpassing your win total from your first year at James Wood and getting into the playoffs. Again, I'm going to ask you, what are sort of the emotions like as you have reached that point, surpassing your win total and getting into the playoffs?
We're extremely excited with our season. A couple of the coaches at the end of the season before we sat down, we knew what our schedule was like. We said we thought we could be, if things worked out for us, we thought a 7-3 season was very doable. And that's what we finished the year, regular season at 7-3, with a bunch of young kids. So that sets us up to do some good things next year. Hopefully, I know, our schedule changes a little bit. We don't have all the same opponents on our schedule for next year. So it's another year. It's another year for kids to get better, to work in the off season. But we do bring back a lot of pieces, offensively and defensively. I've mentioned some guys' names that we're losing. We're gonna have to find a new center on the offensive line. We're gonna have to find a new leader there, our linebacker. So there's some pieces that we're going to have to fill in. But we have feel confident that we have a lot of young guys back. We started 2 freshmen in that playoff game. So two freshmen with playoff experience, that's not a problem. I like that. So these young guys should be hungry to get better and get back into the playoffs.
So, Coach, what's sort of a typical off-season slate this year? I know you probably want to give your kids some rest, but I know high school football, that's pretty much year-round with the weight room, conditioning, 7-on-7s if teams choose, and then we're back to the start of a new football season, just if you wrap it around like that. What is sort of a typical off-season like, trying to get more kids up to the program and building on the team that you already have?
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing. I mean everybody knows a lot of wins and losses happen in the winter and spring. Just by getting into the weight room. I thought last year overall we had a really successful off season. So hopefully that transitions into this off season as well. Continue recruiting the halls, just trying to get kids that are walking the halls, maybe played in middle school and didn't come out this year, something like that. Just try to get more athletes out involved. And then, we'll give them a little bit of time off, and then we'll hit the weight room. We'll do a couple phases of weightlifting throughout January all the way into the spring. And then once we get into the spring, like you mentioned, it'll be 7-on-7 season, and, summer will be here before you know it. So it goes by quick. We're wrapping up our season with our the sports banquet this Sunday, and then after we kind of put this season behind us on Sunday, it'll be on to the next season. We'll start looking at preparing for weightlifting and going back and evaluating everybody from this past season and getting things set for next year.
As always, pleased to be joined by the head coach of the James Wood Colonels, Todd Wilson, as their season falls. The James Wood Colonels falling to Sherando 48-7. But, Coach, it was a very long season, getting into the playoffs each and every week. Can't thank you enough for your time in year 2 and coming to year 3. Can't wait to cover you all more. Looking forward to next season, sir.
Yes, sir. Same here. Appreciate your time and enjoyed these conversations throughout the year.